It's the end of the world! It's the end of the world! Hey, it's the end of the world. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums. Gosh darn, the coronavirus is returning. The demonetized virus is returning. And all the other political stuff happening around the world, not cool. Not cool at all. I feel like I'm being suffocated alive. But here we are doing an album review. Like a true bro, like a true Chad. Because today I'm going to review a very good album, and that would be Jessie Ware's What's Your Pleasure. So Jessie Ware is a disco pop synth funk singer songwriter all the way from UK, and she had been dropping music for quite some time already, but not a single time had she successfully wowed me or anyone really, because her music back then was just very bland, kind of generic, kind of within the wheelhouse, nothing all that groundbreaking, kind of average. Yeah, Jessie Ware kind of reinvented her own musical style on this album because she's sort of bringing back the vintage vibes, the nostalgic vibes, the early 90s, the late 80s, maybe even a little bit of 70s back to this album. And it's just disco pop banger after banger on this album, and probably my favorite album of the year so far, even better than Run the Jewels 4 in my opinion. Yeah, given that the sound of this album is more modernized, it is funkier, synthier, flashier, groovier. It is a huge improvement on Jessie's part. The album opener Spotlight is easily one of my favorite songs of the year so far, let alone singles. Songs, one of my favorite songs of the year so far. The very dramatic, just orchestral, lavishing strings in the beginning and the very elegant vocals, and then building up to this very steady, groovy disco beat. It's fantastic. I love the synths and how soft they are. They're really soft, but at the same time, they're not faint. They're not quiet. They're still upfront, but they're very soft and sensual. And then we get the beats themselves, and they're loud. They're mixed loud, but at the same time, they don't overshadow anything. They're mixed to the perfect volume. Of course, we get the very elegant vocals, the verses, and the choruses. They are catchy and they're funky as heck. Up next, we have the title track, and it's also fantastic. The title track is more of a sensual, new wave disco track with the beats being very European flavored. And I also really like the cool hi hats and the way the hi hats and the kick drum sort of syncopate with one another. They are fantastic. And overall, just another really catchy and compelling track as well. The next track, Ooh La La, is a so much more eccentric track, almost has a sense of humor to it. And it is a synth funk track with campy vocals, tongue in cheek vocal performances sometimes, and the lyrics, they're absolutely fun. We also get these freaky guitars and really coolly arranged cowbells. Bang, 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 bang. We also get some really sick vocal harmonies. And then we have the fourth track, Soul Control, and it is a highlight on the album for me. I absolutely love this track as well. The very stiff synths in the beginning are absolutely playful and fun, and the rest of the track is incredibly catchy and solid. The bass of this track is mixed really, really loud, and it just adds extra groove and funk to the track. And the next track, Save a Kiss, while it is relatively more low key than other tracks on the album, I still really, really, really enjoy the instrumentals on this album. This track has more of an old school house vibe, and it also has these driving beats, these sequence synths, and a hell of a fantastic hook. And then we have the track Adore You, which is definitely a low point on the album, where it doesn't feel necessarily all that modern of a track. So you don't get a disco groove or a synthy, funky uh, passage on this track. Rather, it's a very tame and mild track, really, really low key, and the production is still very hazy and dreamy with its pulsating beats, and it's just okay. I can't really see an idea on this track. One of the lesser inspired tracks on the album overall. But the album quickly picks up its pace back up once again. Picks its pace back up. Jesus, with the track "In Your Eyes," which is a very dramatic track. It has the for some reason it has this very mysterious 007 vibe that I really enjoy. I think the very dramatic falsetto vocals on this track absolutely adds to that drama and that tension. And also the sturdy bass and the synths, they're all very theatrical, and the soul disco vocals are just very beautiful. The track Step Into My Life is definitely a little bit more stripped back, very soulful, but it's still a fantastic track. The vintage horn breaks are fantabulous. They are a nice touch on the track. The bass line on this track is very cute. The vocal harmonies is also a very nice touch, and the breathy, whispery vocal lines, they are the ones that steal the show for me on this track. And the next track, Read My Lips, is also pretty great with its very bold, exciting synth funk passages. I really like the scratchy synth tones on this track. Kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, Queen's Radio Gaga, where the synths are just really upfront and excited for some reason. And also this track has a very strong R&B vibe to it, and while this track isn't one of the more groundbreaking tracks on the track list, it's still fantastic. And then we have the track Mirage Don't Stop, which is a more nuanced house-inspired track. The vocal refrains are fantastic as well, and even though this track sounds relatively less interesting than other tracks on the track list, it's still kinda great, really. The second to last track, The Kill, is actually a bit of a ballad, and even though it's still a bit of a ballad, it still has the very strong disco vibes, and in a way it kind of reminds me of ABBA, and still, this track sounds dramatic and theatrical as heck, which I think is one of the strongest elements of this album. And then we have the album closer, Remember Who You Are, and it is. I didn't expect such an epic ending to this album. I mean, this ending is epic, epic. And essentially, it's this very grandiose, nostalgic dance pop closer where all the instrumentation and all these group vocals, they just fire in full force, and it's fantastic. The chords on this track, they're nostalgic, they're wondrous, and they're very lush and absolutely beautiful, otherworldly beautiful. And this track has this larger than life attitude that is just incredibly bold and in your face and powerful even. And I really enjoy that. I think it's a very memorable ending. So yeah, overall, while this album isn't really like breaking any new grounds or, you know, shocking everyone or anything, I think it's still a really fantastic album. Just track after track after track, amazing songwriting, amazing production, amazing instrumentation, and it's albums like this that we so desperately need in such terrible times we are living right now. And yeah, just the groovy synths, the disco pop that really gets to me on this album. My favorite track here is Spotlight, and my least favorite is Adore You, I Am Giving. Jessie Ware's What's Your Pleasure, a light 9 out of 10. Yay. So, have you listened to the latest Jessie Ware album? From 1 to 10, how much is rated? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I will be reviewing G-Eazy, Haim, Chloe and Hal, maybe Mike, and I will also talk about a bunch of other albums in a mini albums review video with The Soft Pink Truth, Moses Sumney, Ulcerate, Rit Moskba by Moo Juice. I will talk about that a little bit, and yeah, so much more.